We've all been there, right? That feeling of being totally overwhelmed by our emotions. But what if I told you that the way most of us are taught to deal with them, by fighting them off or pushing them down, is actually making things way worse? Well, today we're going to dive into some practical, evidence-based tools to help you actually manage your emotions instead of letting them manage you.
This right here, this is the key to everything we're going to talk about. Just think about it for a second. You feel angry, and then almost immediately you feel bad for feeling angry. Or you feel sad, and you start judging yourself for not being happier. See, the problem isn't the anger or the sadness itself. It's that second layer, that judgment. That's where the real suffering kicks in.
So yeah, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? If fighting our feelings and judging ourselves is the problem, what's the solution? How do we actually break that cycle?
Well, the thing is, we're taught this stuff from a young age. Don't be angry. Stop crying. Toughen up. We're basically trained to believe our feelings are wrong. This explainer is all about giving you the toolkit to unlearn all that. We're going to borrow some incredible skills from a field of psychology called Dialectical Behavior Therapy, or DBT, which was literally designed to help people manage super intense emotions. It's all about building a whole new approach.
All right, first things first. Before any tools or tricks, we have to start with a major mindset shift. Let's reframe our entire relationship with our feelings.
Okay, so here's the big idea. Emotions are information. They are not instructions. An emotion is just your body's way of giving you data about what's going on. For example, imagine a new mom whose baby just will not stop crying. She starts to feel totally inadequate. Now, that feeling? That's just information. It is not an instruction to give up. If she gets curious about it, that feeling might be telling her, hey, I need a break, or I need to ask for help, or I just need someone to tell me I'm doing okay. See how that flips the script?
Okay, that's all great for the long game. But what about right now? Like when you're in the middle of an absolute emotional firestorm and you feel completely out of control. Well, this section is your emotional first aid kit.
And here's the #1 rule of emotional first aid. You can't fight your mind with your mind. When you're spiraling, trying to think your way out of it is like trying to put out a fire with gasoline. It just doesn't work. The secret is that our body sends constant signals to our brain. So the fastest way to calm down that fight or flight response in your head is to change the signals your body is sending first.
So your first tool, think of it like hitting the emergency brake on your car. It's called the stop skill. The moment you feel that overwhelming urge to react, first, just stop. Literally freeze. Don't do a thing. Second, take a step back. If you can physically do it, great. Take a deep breath, give yourself some space. Third, observe. What's going on inside you? What's happening around you? Just notice. And finally, proceed mindfully. Think about what you really want and choose an action that's going to make things better, not worse.
Now, if you need to slam the brakes on your body chemistry, and I mean fast, you use the TIP skills. T is for temperature. Get some cold water and splash it on your face. I is for intense exercise, even for just 60 seconds. Run in place, do jumping jacks, burn off that crisis energy. And P is for paced breathing. Breathe in normally, but make your exhale way longer than your inhale. This physically tells your nervous system that the danger has passed.
And that cold water trick? It's not just some old wives' tale. There's some seriously cool science behind it. When you put cold water on your face, it triggers a reflex called the mammalian dive response. Your body basically thinks you're diving underwater, so it automatically slows your heart rate down to save oxygen. It's a built-in biological hack to hit the reset button on your emotional system. Pretty cool, huh? All right, so stop and tip. Those are for when the emotional wave is at its absolute peak, when it's about to crash. But what about after? You know, that lingering distress that just hangs around? The goal here isn't to get rid of the feeling, but to just tolerate it, to ride the wave without making things worse. This is where a super handy tool called Accepts comes in. It's basically a menu of healthy distractions to help you ride out the wave until it gets a little smaller. You can try activities like watching a movie, contributing like helping a friend, comparisons to gain some perspective, create different emotions, maybe with a funny YouTube video, push away the situation for a little while, occupy your thoughts with a puzzle or a game, or use strong sensations like holding an ice cube or taking a really hot shower. Another amazing technique is about self-soothing. It's about grounding yourself in the here and now by deliberately engaging your 5 senses. This isn't about distraction, it's about comfort. So for vision, you could look at the stars. For hearing, put on some calming music.
For smell, light a candle you love. For taste, mindfully sip a cup of tea. And for touch, wrap yourself up in a super soft blanket. It's just about being kind and gentle with yourself in that moment.
Okay, so we've got the first aid kit, we've got the coping skills, but now we're going to get to the real game changer. The big picture shift that makes all of this stuff stick for the long haul.
It's called radical acceptance. And yeah, it sounds pretty intense, because it kind of is. What it really means is you just stop fighting reality. You stop wasting all your energy wishing things were different. It's about acknowledging the facts of a situation, especially the ones you can't change, without bitterness. Because fighting reality doesn't actually change reality, it just hurts.
And this is so important to get right. Let's talk about what acceptance is not. It is not approval. You can accept that a terrible thing happened without saying it was okay. It is not passivity or giving up. In fact, it's the opposite. You can't effectively change your future until you first accept the reality of your present. Acceptance is simply letting go of that useless fight with what is, which frees up all your energy to actually move forward.
So, how do you actually do this? It's one thing to understand the idea, but how do we make acceptance a real sustainable habit in our day-to-day lives?
Well, it often starts with a surprisingly simple but powerful idea you have to name it to tame it. Just by accurately labeling an emotion, you can actually reduce its intensity. Think of it like a messy library. Saying I feel bad is like wandering around aimlessly. But saying I feel resentful or I feel lonely, that's like knowing exactly which shelf the book is on. Once you can find it, you can actually read it and understand what it's trying to tell you.
And we can build that labeling into a simple 4-step validation process. You can do this anytime, anywhere. First, name it. I feel disappointed. Second, allow it. And it's okay that I feel disappointed. Third, make sense of it. It makes sense I feel disappointed because I worked really hard for that. And if you want to go deeper, fourth, understand your history. It makes sense I have a big problem with disappointment because of things that happened in my past. This whole process transforms judgment into genuine understanding.
And that, right there, brings us full circle. Back to where we started. Your emotions are just information. They are not instructions. So what do you think would happen if you finally stopped fighting them and instead just started listening? What are they really trying to tell you? That shift, right there, from fighting to listening, that's where all the power is.